Morning scientists, in today's lesson we are going to look at hydrogen fuel cells. So this is a type of fuel cell that goes in a car or something that goes and generates energy just from hydrogen and reacting it with oxygen. The next video clips will go and look at this in more detail.
A fuel cell is a device that generates electricity by a chemical reaction. Every fuel cell has two electrodes, one positive, one negative, called respectively the anode and the cathode. The reactions that produce electricity take place at the electrodes. Every fuel cell also has an electrolyte. So an electrolyte carries the electrically charged particles from one electrode to the other, and a catalyst which speeds up the reaction at the electrodes. So, in terms of hydrogen fuel cells, hydrogen is the basic fuel, but the fuel cells also require oxygen. So one great appeal for a fuel cell is that it generates electricity but doesn't produce any real pollution. The only byproduct is water. So the reaction that's occurring is actually between hydrogen and oxygen. So in a hydrogen fuel cell, hydrogen and oxygen are used to produce a voltage. So water is the only product. So two separate reactions happen, one at each side of the cell. So on one side, hydrogen molecules lose electrons and form hydrogen ions. The two products reach the other side of the cell, so hydrogen ions move through a membrane and the electrons will go up through the circuit, which is what's providing the electricity. On the other side of the cell, the hydrogen ions that have lost the electrons then have formed hydrogen ions will go and bind with oxygen and form water. So if we actually go and look at the process of what's happening in this hydrogen fuel cell. First thing is that hydrogen gas from a fuel tank enters one side and oxygen from the air enters the other. The positively charged anode pulls an electron from hydrogen atoms. These electrons move around the circuit towards the negatively charged cathode. Oxygen atoms accept two electrons from the negative cathode, so the positively charged hydrogen ions move towards the negatively charged cathode. Right, remember, opposites always attract. The negatively charged oxygen ions move towards the positively charged anode, and both ions move through the electrolyte and combine to go and form water. So if we actually go and think about the reaction that happens, we can think of this in terms of looking at bond energies and energy level diagrams of the reaction. So remember that if you're having a go at this, we start off, we draw out all the bonds in the individual molecules involved. Then we calculate the energy absorbed when all of the reactants are broken, right? So we do that by using the table below, and we go and add up the energy for all of the individual bonds. We calculate the energy released when all of the new bonds in the products are made in the same way, and then we subtract the total of the new bonds from the old total, and if it gives us a negative answer, that means that the final reaction is exothermic, so therefore energy is being given out. So if we actually go through and work this out, we would end up with an energy change of minus 486 kilojoules, which is negative. Therefore, energy is being given out, which is what is providing the energy that is being generated by the fuel cell. If we go and think about this in terms of an energy level diagram, so some key things to remember are that during exothermic reactions, energy is given out. This means that the energy of the products will be lower than that of the reactants.